Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. This is our old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am thrilled. We have a Zoom call. Hello. Wait. Something. Oh, there's a person on the Zoom. Hello, Zoom person. Shalom. We are going to be talking to an authoress and a danceress. Her name is Greyson, ANN GREYSON. She's been writing books like The Lonely Vampire, and Gotham Kitty, and Never Dead, which is frightening. Plus, let's see what else. She has a black belt. She probably also has a brown belt and a green belt, depending on her outfit. I have a white talus as well as my red one. But ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome to the neighborhood, Shalom ANN GREYSON. How are you, Ann? Wait, are you still? I think you might be. You're muted. You gotta unmute yourself there. Hold on. Unmute, please. There you go. Shalom. How you doing?
Shalom to you. You do hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Shalom.
Oh,
I've never heard it. Shalom. You're not Jewish, are you?
I said it wrong. No, I'm not.
What are you? Well, you're probably atheist, but what?
No, I'm liberal Catholic. But yeah. I know lots of Jewish people like you, so I think it's wonderful.
That's horrifying. You know lots of Jewish people like me. I don't even want to know Jewish people like me. That's a scary, scary thing. How are you? How did you come through the pandemicus?
Very well. I'm glad not to be wearing a mask. It's just great to see people not wearing masks around here.
And you're in New York now. Because you were in like Baltimore for a long time, but now you're back in New York in Byron's, and so you're seeing people being people again and living life again, as it were, even unmasked.
It's great.
So, but how was I mean, were you a very indoorsy people? Did it help you write more because you had nothing else to do, so you added an extra 2 hours a day to your writing time? Or, how was the pandemic for you as a writer?
Well, I was indoors, like you said, and I was writing, and I wouldn't go out too much because they said you couldn't. I didn't go through a lockdown situation because I don't remember them really doing too much of that in Maryland. Like, I think New York was more serious about coronavirus and more people, especially in the city. Yeah.
So tell us. Here's the deal. You started, I think, back in the day. You were going to be an actress dancer. Is that correct? That was your speed. That was where you were at. You were at NYU for a bit, or not, or. Why am I thinking?
I hung out there, but I didn't really take classes, but I hung out with people who went there.
Okay. So how was it? Because you spent several years doing dance with Dance Baltimore, and you were in some so it was ballet-ish kind of. What kind of dance were you doing?
Originally, it was ballet when I first came to New York. That was really all I wanted to do was ballet. And then I did get into acting school after I graduated high school, American Academy of Dramatic Arts. And you know the school is wonderful. I only did one semester though.
Why?
One semester only. I didn't like it much because I really was doing it so I could perform, like Broadway shows. Like if I do acting, it would be just so I could dance and sing. So I didn't really like the teachings too much. I thought it was a bit odd. The movement wasn't real dance. They made me take a speech class. They said I had a bit of a Southern accent because I'd lived in Atlanta, Georgia before, and I didn't think I had any accent. So it was the classes were so serious acting, and I was coming out of ballet, and I just wasn't ready for that. So I did one semester, made the best of it, but I didn't return.
But then you found ways to go and dance. So you found a home eventually in Dance Baltimore. But did it take some time to do that?
You know what? I took a time off from dancing. I did some production work in theater production.
Right.
Where I came across Dave Lefkowitz when I was doing theater many years ago. And I did do a little bit of acting, but I wasn't too serious about the acting. I always liked the dancing a little bit more, but now I'm open to all things.
Why do you still? I mean, I'm sure you still, but do you dance at all, professionally, semi-professionally, or you just do it to keep limber, as it were, or what?
Well, now it would be to keep limber, but I would say in the past, semi-professional in the past. Now, and how can I have time with the writing of the books?
Well, of
It'll be
course,
fine.
but we will get to books. But let me ask you: in dancing, do you have those things like Fosse dancers have, where you've got bone spurs in your heel, and this doesn't work, and that because you've worn these shoes that cripple your toes, and you move in weird ways, or has it kept you more healthy and more limber than people our age ish?
I
Or
think it's
both?
kept me healthy. I haven't had any problems at all. In all of my dancing, no injuries. Um, lots of fun, and I feel it's just great for my health, definitely.
So, what was your proudest moment as a dancer or actress, as a performer?
Well, one of my favorite performances was when I did Beggar Woman, Les Miserables, and I felt that that was one of my strongest Broadway style dance performances. I really enjoyed that. It was fun to play. Then I did this whole scene where I fall on the floor. It was all drama, and then I raised my hand, like a beggar woman. If you know the Les Miserables story, so it was very, emulated around that, and it
I
was
fall on
fun.
the floor daily. There's nothing fun about it. I raise my hand. I hit my life alert. And, it takes 2 hours for people to come. It's kind of sad.
Oh no.
I think you had a better time of it, honestly. I think you did. We're talking with Ann Grayson, by the way. But then the whole novel writing thing is much more recent. You did short pieces. You were published in magazines and newspapers and journals. How did you make that transition into writing full-length books?
Well, the first one came in 2013. This is the one I'm releasing in a couple weeks, Gotham Kitty. And I just started getting these story ideas. And then I started putting them, trying them out, expanding them from screenplay for book format. And then I'm just like, now I'm just going for it,
Look
ready
at
to do
you.
another one right after.
But first of all, Gotham Kitty. Can you give us a little a synopsis of what this has to do?
Well, it's a story of an alien from another galaxy
Uh,
that is captured by other alien people, and they end up again going through a wormhole and end up by Earth. They spit out, in our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, and then to escape the little alien disables the ship and it gets it out in an escape pod, but that ship crashes, those aliens die, and
hey,
then he's stranded on Earth in Africa. So it's quite a story.
it is indeed, and it's perfect for the times because it's all BIPOC. They're BIPOC aliens, which is exciting to me. And no.
Several aliens.
So, but is it for grown-ups? Is it young adult fiction? Is it what is it for? Is it for everybody, obviously? But do you pitch towards which audience mostly?
I would say young adult because there's 11-year-old children in the story, additional to grown-ups. I thought it would appeal to young people. At least I'm hoping to. It will.
Now, who's publishing Gotham Kitty? How can people get it?
Well, it'll be in some bookstores and online, Amazon .com, Barnes
What
and
imprint?
Noble.
Who is the publisher, or what's the name of them on the spine
Oh,
of the book?
Ingram Spark, which is part of Ingram Content Group.
Ingram Spark. So, and you can get it where all books are. I know it'll be an ebook, and people can also buy it to download and Kindle it and things like that. Yes.
Yes. Now the ebook comes out a couple weeks after the print publication. That's just the standard procedure.
Now that's Gotham Kitty, but you said that was your first. When did Never Dead happen?
Well, Never Dead was a combination of ideas. I was a big fan. If you want to know, I was a huge fan of Resident Evil. You
Uh,
remember, the movie with Mila Jovovich? And but there were parts in that movie I was not into. Like there were mutations and genetic experiments, and I felt that there were parts of that movie that could be done better. So after, I don't know, I think I was watching the series for 12 years. I watched it all the way till the end. In 2017 was the final movie, Resident Evil, the final chapter. And honestly, it was a big influence to me. So I kind of put together my own ideas for Never Dead along those lines, but I put in what I felt was more real and I left out a lot of things that I didn't like in Resident Evil or Night of the Living Dead. So because I had fallen into that series as a fan,
Right.
um, it was easy for it to influence me for the first book for me to release because I felt I was ready to go with that because I had so many ideas about zombie stories. Um, and
So what is it about Resident Evil and zombie stories that particularly appeals to you? Have you been able to say, oh, this is why I like them?
I thought the dialogue was really funny in
Oh,
Resident
they're
Evil.
funny.
The
Yeah, I
oh
never
right,
saw these things. Oh, ah,
my favorite line in the movie. Do you really want to hear it?
of
In
course I
Resident,
want to hear it.
I believe this is the reason why the movie became so popular. I can't do a British accent though, because
So-
it's done. It's a computer that says it, but with a British accent. You're all gonna die down there. Line.
Hey, wait, where's my life alert?
That's the reason. That's the reason I got into it. It was so funny because it was so unexpected for that line to come out.
Oh, I
And
have a computer. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and but
I,
she was right. There were zombies, so most of them ended up dying.
oh, so are your books more scary, funny, scary? Where do they go on the line? Are they, horror can go like everything from Saw to Shaun of the Dead. So where do they, fall in that?
Well, there's comedy in my book. So one thing I did with Never Dead was I did put in comedy in that book too, and I have my own lines like I would say cannibalism is not against the law. They're not doing anything illegal. So I threw in my own humor regarding zombies.
Yeah.
After watching Resident Evil, I had to come up with my own stuff too.
Right. So
So
and there's another book that where there's another book called Lonely Vampire. Is that funny? Also more romantic? What is that one?
that has comedy between the older characters, Lorraine Cragg and her husband, because they don't get along very well. They're aging, married a long time. It's not the most perfect relationship, and I wanted it to be real in that along those lines. And then she's suspicious of the because she lives next door to the vampire, fairly close, and so but she doesn't know the woman is a vampire. She just thinks the woman is weird or strange because she hears all these noises. So there's a lot of comedy in The Lonely Vampire too.
And is that one available and released, or is Never Dead the only one that's out there so far, and we've got to wait a while for the other two? How
No,
do we,
The Lonely Vampire is out. Gotham Kitty's hopefully coming out in a couple weeks.
cool.
I'm
And so
it,
then you'll have all three books out. You'll have three:
yes.
Never Dead, Gotham Kitty, and The Lonely Vampire. And it sounds, pardon my phlegm. It sounds also, even though no writer wants to tell, that you're already working on book number 4.
Oh yes, it's that one too. Yes.
Can you mention anything about it, or do you have to keep hush hush until you say the end?
Well, I can tell you. I have no.
Tell
Right.
it, the scoop.
Ready?
Yes.
It's called Bird Watcher. It's a ghost story that takes place in the Poconos of Pennsylvania.
All right.
A child that was unfortunately murdered, and parents don't know whatever happened to her. So it's under investigation by the police. But she's a ghost now, and she gets to tell her story. So anyone who comes to the cabin is going to find a manuscript at some point, which is going to explain what happened to her. That's her way of communicating with the real living world.
So she, as a ghost, she was able to write a book, and or manuscript, the pages of this manuscript that because she wrote it before she died, or already after she was a ghost.
Well, after she's a ghost, she actually fabricates an older version of herself, and that character doesn't realize necessarily they're a ghost, and just carries on. You get the impression like it's a real person,
Uh-huh.
and they're writing this book, and the whole
Pictures of her,
time.
or something like that, or yeah, all right. Because I'm figuring if the ghost can write a book, why can't the ghost go and kill the person who killed her? Right? I'm just spitballing here.
Well, I made it. It was a serial killer that was just passing through that happened to be there at that time, and then he's moved on to who knows where else. That's why. And she's the ghost. She's stuck in there where she is.
Not to give things away, but all these books, do you put happy endings on them, or do you like to keep them sort of tingly and creepy at the end?
I have happy endings.
Yay! God damn it! In my 50s, I want happy endings. I just do. I just do. Anywho, speaking, you call that, what was it, bird watcher?
Yes.
You are one, right? You have been an ornithologist-y kind of person. When did you get into that?
Well, I had a little pet parakeet that was just so cute and had such a personality. Her name was Miss Fuji. So I created another story around her, like I wanted to do a children's book, and I called it with Miss Fuji. And it was, I named it Oh Christmas Tree, and that's a future book I want to create, probably the last one I will write in the next couple years. And so, I just developed interest in these little birds around. I started noticing them more in society. I never really paid attention because I had cats before. And now,
you have cats with birds. This does not mix well.
Oh no, they don't. No. And so, well, then I received an email from Cornell University about them having this program about the ornithology department where they actually work to preserve, the birds and of the world. And so, I decided to join and participate a little bit because after Miss Fuji did die, I still, have a feeling.
And by the way, she was delicious. Yeah, tiny, but the meat was sucked. I'm kidding. All right. Yes.
She was just such a personality. She was little. Like these birds are little, but they're so full of life and they're so cute. But they don't live too long. That's the sad part.
But do you go to like Central Park or to places to sit there for 2 hours with binoculars and do that sort of thing?
I did a couple times, but lately, I don't have too much time to do it. But there is a lake near where I live in Norwood, and I'm thinking of checking it out. To see what, I saw ducks so far. Yeah, that was fun. There's a pretty big lake and it's not far away, and people supposedly go there and stuff. So there's a lot to do in this part of New York. So I will definitely do that perhaps in the future.
Now you mentioned time, because this I'm curious about. You're saying don't have time to. How much do you have to put aside, or are you one of those people like every day the egg timer goes on for 2 hours, and then that whether you feel inspiration or not, you sit down, you write? Or are you one of those people, I don't feel it today, but then you wake up one morning and for 7 hours you don't look up from the desk?
Well, I something not could be like that, but no, I just write like one chapter a day, and I push myself to just work on one chapter a day when I'm writing a new book. But when I'm, touching up the latest novel, I'll work on 5 or 6 chapters a day just to get those ready in time for the release that is scheduled. But I can really write one chapter a day pretty easy in about 5 hours, the latest time. It doesn't take me too long.
No, that's pretty. Let me ask you: do you get in this day and age where it isn't just like a book comes out, it's a major publisher, and it goes out there and it's reviewed on Kirkus or wherever? And so, how do you get feedback? How do you know when people like your book, when they love a character? Do you get fan mail? Do you get email? Do you get notes from the publisher? Do you get Amazon reviews or what?
It's basically the reviews. I mean, it could be on Amazon, Goodreads. Some people have their own bloggers on the internet. Majority of the feedback I have is pretty good, but there's always going to be people that it may not be a story for them. And then you wonder, why did they read it? If it's not for them, but I think they went into reading the book expecting something else.
Oh my God! When I went to read Never Dead, I'm like, I'm 100 pages in, no Jerry Garcia, no.
No, there is Jerry Garcia. There is.
He's not in there at all. And
no, there's a reference. There's a reference to someone wearing a T-shirt
of the Grateful Dead. Oh, I missed that. Somehow I missed that in the pages there. So let me also. By the way, we're talking with ANN GREYSON. She is the author of several books, including Gotham Kitty, which is coming out in a couple of weeks, and The Lonely Vampire and Never Dead. So let me also ask you, do you read other people in your genre, or do you avoid that for fear of either copying or being over influenced or saying, oh crap, I was going to do that, but it's already been done? What do you read?
Well, I like to read stuff that actually is in my genre. And I mentioned before that I was glad that I had seen Resident Evil so many times because when I wrote Never Dead, I was able to make sure it wasn't anything like Resident Evil at all. In fact, it reminds me more of like Gravity with Sandra Bullock kind of story because it's about survival and a girl on her own and what she has to go through to survive at the end, going through all this zombie pandemic environment. So in a way, it does help me to read some books or see some stories that are similar, but I don't have to see a lot of them. Just a few, just to make sure I'm not copying. And then they'll do stuff that I necessarily won't want to do. You
Now, do you have a favorite all-time book? I mean, it could be any genre, but do you have a favorite, like, oh, I read this along every 10 years just to tap back into it?
Well, it's a two-part answer.
All right.
Okay. The first book I really did like when I was younger was Wuthering Heights. But then now things have changed when you become a writer. And I would tell you that there is a book, I'm not that thrilled about the story. It's a little bit risky for me, but I think the writing is the best writing I could ever put my eyes on. And I would say James Patterson, The Murder of King Tut, is so superbly written. It's worth just looking at the way he wrote the book. But I have issues about that time, in Egypt and, the conflicts during that period.
Well, first of all, is it James Patterson, or is there a name under it who actually wrote everything? And Patterson said, "Oh, that's all right." Can you tell?
I think he wrote it.
He
Yeah.
actually wrote James, The Murder of King Tut, was it?
Yeah, I think the book is so excellently written. Just like I was shocked at somebody who would put so much effort into a story that you think you've heard many times. I mean, we've all heard stories about Egypt. It's not like too original of a story when you think about it,
But when
but
you
it's
say
so well written.
what's risky about it? Is it politically, or what's the problem with it?
The portrayal of women is not a very positive portrayal.
Okay, I didn't get the
Women,
yeah.
yeah.
Now you are a feminist, and on your blog on your website you say
Well,
what? You're not
I
a
don't know
feminist.
if I would call myself feminist, but you can call me that. It's
All right,
fine.
I'll call you a feminist. You are I think the quote feminine lesbian also.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true.
That
Okay.
is okay, Mazel. Are you with somebody? Are you not with somebody? What's if you don't mind? What's your status at the moment?
I'm not with anyone at this time.
And this is why
Just
you have
got
friends.
moving to New York, and I'm exploring.
Oh, mit Mazel. When did you realize that you like girls more, or rather than people with penises?
See, I thought this was a touchy subject for a rabbi.
I, mean, I
I
talk
thought
to
this
people
was
all the
touchy.
time.
I'm surprised you're a modern day rabbi, very
Oh,
liberal,
oh, please.
modern day.
I have three people in my congregation, and half of them are dead. So
Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. Well, our shit is like a gas station. It doesn't even. So yeah. Come on, tell. And
Well,
if there's a shower scene, tell more. So,
I tell you, I think I've been feeling this way since I was a young girl. The first crush I had was Snow White, so I had to be like 3 years old.
oh my god.
Yeah.
So, but wasn't it? Did you have issues telling if you ever told your mama and your tata, here's my friend who wants to come over for the holidays, or it was never they just knew, or what?
Well, I didn't say anything to my family for until maybe I was 17 years old because I didn't know if it was something, to necessarily share. Um, I was nervous about it, but they were suspicious, being in ballet that
Oh,
yeah, there's a lot of women in ballet. So they were suspicious that I was spending more time with girls. They really didn't see me spending time with boys. So, my sister, my mom, they were a bit suspicious. And, finally, when I was 17 or 18, I just told them, yes, that's, how I feel.
And when
And
you were, at least you were in New York in those environs and in the East Coast, so you always felt normal about it, right? You never went to a place where you felt, oh my God, I'm not, hegemonic, if you will, right?
I feel normal about it. It's just the way I ended up, I say born this way.
Because I mean, this is we're talking
That.
the '70s, the '60s, the '70s, and '80s, not 2000, post 2000, post everything, and then gay marriage and all of that. I mean, it was an era that was different. But so
Oh,
but
yeah, the 80s and 90s, yes.
yeah.
It was slightly different. But I felt it was maybe at that time it was just AIDS was coming out, maybe 86, 87. There were some things happening in the gay community that were affecting people, and making and paving the way for those changes to happen.
Well, as a person who was in ballet, did you lose many friends? Did you lose colleagues and cohorts you were dancing with?
No, that was probably the reason why I stayed in ballet. That if you want to know, I mean, it was a very comfortable environment. I think that there's a lot of gay men in dance
No,
as
but
well.
when I meant lose, I meant in the AIDS era. I mean, were there people that
Oh
you
my God. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't. Actually, I only met one man that died of AIDS, and years later, when I was in Florida for a while, and he was working at a hotel. That was really the only person I ever came across that died of AIDS.
If he was working in a hotel, are you sure he didn't die of boredom? I'm,
Really, yeah.
I
That
kid. I kid. Did you dance with Mikhail Baryshnikov?
I was in class with him. Yes, we were in the same level, advanced.
Could you tell at that point that he would be Mikhail Baryshnikov?
Oh, he was already Mikhail Baryshnikov because he's a little bit older than I am. So when I was in class with him, I knew who he was, and he would just. It was on Saturdays with a teacher named David Howard in New York City, and he came with some other principal dancers from the American Ballet Theater, and it was just normal because I wasn't at the advanced level, so it wasn't strange to see principal dancers coming into my classes sometimes. It just happened to be him that particular Saturday class I was in with David Howard.
So it's just one of those. Oh, yeah, he's here. It's like, and he's a good dancer, but so am I. It's that kind of feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I felt we were about the same level. It's just that he had, a bigger career, older, more experienced. But this was 1987, 88, so he'd already been in, White Nights, the movie,
Right.
and he'd already, was recognized around the world at that time.
Let me ask, what is something that you learned in dance and theater that you can still apply to life in general?
Well, I believe that sometimes you have to, maintain perhaps a performance personality to be able to get through some of the things that happen in real life and be able to just, you know, let things go, not get too excited about, everyday problems. When you're performing sometimes, or you have a conflict with someone, so you just put on a performance personality, you smile, you're nice, you tolerate it, you go on. I think that's what sometimes you have to do if you're coming across someone who's not most pleasant personality.
Like me, basically. Every time I ask a question,
So
it's filtering through Ann Greyson's head. Is like, do I answer this one? Do I call him an asshole? Or all right, I'll smile and I'll give him the best answer I can. Yes, I can. I can see the wheels turning, if you will. What?
yeah, smile and give the best answer possibly I can come up with. Exactly.
Now we're talking with Ann Greyson here on Dave's Gone By. I do want to tell everybody that it is just after 10 a.m. in the morning Eastern Time. It is the 807th episode of the program, and just in a moment or two, we're going to begin letting in people to play the weekly Today Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Anne has kindly agreed to stay for the quiz, to play this history quiz. And the questions can come from all different fields, and they're all ridiculous. So first of all, we appreciate your sticking around. We've got one of our guests just about to enter the room is David Sheward, the former president of the Drama Desk, and he's also a blogger and a writer and a theater critic. We're waiting also for Leslie Hoban Blake, who is a director and a theater critic as well. But alas, I'm losing my colors. Rabbi Sol Solomon, will not be hosting the game. That will go to the host of this overall show, Dave, of Dave's Gone By. So let me bid a very, very fine thank you to Ann Greyson and remind everybody that you can get 2 of her books now and 1 of her new books in just a couple of weeks. The books are Gotham Kitty, The Lonely Vampire, and Never Dead. It remains for me to say, Ann Greyson, it has been lovely talking to you. I wish you much, much more success, much more generativity and creativity, and more bird watching, which is also very, very nice. So thank you so much. And do not go away. Just stay there. You'll be alone on camera. You can sing or do something.
Can I say something? I think I know one of those people that's on the panel. Did you say David Sheward? I think he used to work for Backstage Los Angeles. Am I right?
He used to work for Backstage New York, so you probably had to. You'll meet him in a minute. You'll ask him.
I'll ask him. I recognize the name.
It's what I call 6 degrees of schlepperation.
Yes, definitely.
Jewish people call it. Ann Greyson, thank you very, very much. Let me get out of here so Dave can be here. It's been a delight, but don't go away. There's more Dave's Gone By to come. Hello? Play the music, damn it. Why is it not playing?
Well, thank you for having me, Rabbi. I love it. It's been so much fun already.
Thank you. All right, the music won't play, but make-believing is. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next part of Dave's Gone By. Here with me, Dave Lefkowitz, and we're getting ready to play the weekly Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. We have with us Ann Greyson, who was just talking to Rabbi Sol Solomon. She's the author of a couple of books out now. Ann, do you have a website where people can go to read about you and all that stuff?
Yes, it's ANNGREYSON.com. It's in the chat.
It's actually in the chat box that my darling and wonderful wife Joyce has put on our Facebook page. So it's Ann S. Greyson, GREYSON.com. That's why we're calling this episode Amazing Grace.
Well, I thank you. And I have never met Joyce, by the way. I haven't. So if she can pop on camera, I'd love to say hello to her at some point. She doesn't
do that
camera
victim thing. She's
just tell her I said hello.
Tell her witness.
And she can yell it. She can hear.
It's witness protection. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to meet you. Great to meet you.
Well, she's a sweetie, and we've been married for 23 years. So yeah.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you on your book. Congratulations to David Sheward on his continuing blog, which is The David Desk.
And if his mom still thinks the show is stupid.
and whose mom called this show stupid. So so David, where are you? Are you vacationing somewhere in like Baltimore, or where are you in Baltimore, or where are you at?
No. Shirt. Wow.
Oh, David, you're muted.
Do this, honey.
There we go.
Yeah.
I'm vacationing in, it's not sure, the town is either Scarborough or Pine Point, Maine, which is right outside of Portland.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How is it? I've never been to Maine. I've always wanted to go. How's Maine?
Very, very nice. We've been here many times before, me and my husband, Jerry. And let's see, my mother is from Maine. So as a little kid, we would visit her side of the family quite often. Way up in the northern part of the state, almost to Canada, in this town called Machias, which is where my mom's from. And everybody's like Stephen King. No, I'm kidding. Well, he's from Maine, and all of most of his stories take place in Maine.
Actually,
But
that's a good question for Ann Grayson, who writes in sort of the horror genre. What do you think?
oh, really?
Well, can I ask David, were you in Los Angeles?
No.
Like backstage or New York
Yes.
backstage?
Yes. I was with Backstage in New York.
I remember.
Yes. Just for a while, I was the executive what was my title? I was like managing editor and executive editor for a while. And we had an office in Los Angeles, but I was based in New York.
Oh, so you never were in Los Angeles at any point?
I visited the office once or twice,
Okay.
but I was based in New York, in the New York office.
But I remember those days.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
But how would you?
Thank you. It's just, I hope it was a pleasant memory.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yeah.
Good.
But and would you have been visiting? Why would you have been visiting Backstage as opposed to just checking the listings for acting and dancing opportunities? How would you have known David as opposed to just as a name? That's what I'm trying to get.
Oh, me? Well, because I was working on theater, if you remember. So I knew various people that worked at Backstage, Dramalog, all those newspapers, Los Angeles Times. And I remembered, coming across David's name several times.
Yeah,
submissions to Backstage.
Yeah, I did write articles which did appear in the Los Angeles edition, and later on, there was like a New York edition. There was an LA edition.
Okay. David, can you check your mic? Has something kind of got you there? Can you talk a little bit? I think we
How's this?
Much better, much better. It got.
Okay, maybe I was too far away.
There. Welcome. Oh my God. Okay.
How's this?
I love the shirt. It's vacation.
Joyce says she loves your shirt. That's very vacation. Not really a main vacation shirt, but it's a vacation shirt.
Yeah, we had a New York edition of Backstage and a Los Angeles edition of Backstage, and then eventually we merged into one huge newspaper. And then we got online, and now it's and I no longer work there, and now I'm a high school teacher.
Yay! So and let me just tell people one of the things is we're still waiting for. Go figure. We're waiting for Leslie Blake. I haven't checked my messages yet. She tends to have issues coming online. She tends. Hey, honey, would you mind getting my phone and seeing if I got a message from our other guest?
Do not shame your guest.
I'm not sure, but every week. Hold on.
This is Ed Rubin. Hold on.
Well, anyway, while we're waiting for her, I will. I'll start the game and I'll tell Anne the rules of the game because she is new to the game. We call it the Today Yesterday Quiz, and the basic thing is it's a trivia game. I ask some trivia questions. All of these things happened in history on this date. Today is July 17th, 2021. Every one of these events happened on July 17th in the past year. Cool? Okay. So, each person, assuming we have 3 players, each person will get 3 questions. We'll have 3 rounds. And then there's a tiebreaker if we need it. And even if we don't need it, we do the tiebreaker anyway. Do you happen to have, since you are a writer, Anne, do you have a pen and paper handy? Just like scrap paper or pencil? Because you might need it for the tiebreaker. Fantastic. And we're really all set.
I need the pen and paper?
You will, but not yet. You'll need it for the tiebreaker. So there's just a scribble down, a loose piece of paper or a scrap of used toilet paper works fine.
Right.
And tear through it. I'm just saying. Anywho,
A paper towel.
Paper towel.
I thought you were working to keep your guests this time.
Never. So I'm gonna. I also want to tell Anne the way the game works is each question is worth 2 points if you get it right. If you get it wrong, there's no penalty, but one of the other contestant can steal the question from you and get those 2 points. So that's basically all the rules you'll need. What I will ask from Ann Grayson is, could you kindly pick a number between 1 and please make sure it's an integer, number between 1 and 6, and tell me what it is.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay, 4.
4. Anne goes with 4. David Sheward, could you kindly pick a number?
3.5. No, I'm kidding. I was going to go for a fraction. instead of an integer. I'll say 3.
3. David Short has 3, and Grayson has 4. What that means, Anne, is I'm going to roll a die.
But tell her that most of the time, the first time people look
Oh,
at school,
yeah, Joyce is saying, and this is kind of important to Anne, some of these questions are ridiculous. Some of them are more basic trivia. They're generally not easy at all. So a lot of times, first-time guests, if they're lucky if they get 2 points at all.
It's for fun.
everything.
Yeah.
Are you going to ask me directly the question, or do I just blurt it out if I know the answer?
Well, no, I'll ask you, and then I'll give
When
you
it's your turn. When it's your turn.
Sorry. Yeah, we go
Okay.
one by one. And then I'll ask you usually, is that your final answer? Because it's sort of the end. Yay! Hold on one moment, please. Only 12 minutes late. Hold on. One moment, please.
Can you imagine if this were the match game and Brett Summers was late all the time?
Stumbling in after.
Or if it
Hold
was-
on. Yay! All right, Leslie, and make sure you're not muted, because we see your nose and your glasses and your hats and your lamp and your wrestling belt. There we go. Okay, welcome, Leslie.
Leslie.
Unmute.
Unmute-a-roo. She's doing it. She knows. But she's talking still mute. There. Okay.
There I go. So,
Welcome.
1 minute at a time. Good morning. It's early. I didn't sleep much last night, so it's really early.
Well, welcome. Early or so. Hey, you're only 13 minutes late, Leslie. We're
Oh,
making.
by my standards, that's on time. Hi, good morning. Hello, pretty lady. Who are you?
Good morning.
That
Hi,
pretty,
Dave, but I wasn't saying pretty lady to you. That's very funny.
Thank you.
Well,
so
that shirt, the shirt fooled me. You're right. The shirt fooled me.
that pretty lady is Anne Grayson, longtime actress, dancer, and past few years, a writer, a novelist, author of Never Dead Gotham Kitty, and sorry, Anne, I've forgotten the last. The Lonely Vampire, of course, and
Probably the greatest title I've ever heard. That's a fantastic title. I don't know the book. I'm sorry.
And no
Well,
relation.
So nice to
no
meet
relation
you,
to-
Leslie. Thank you. Hello.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, David. What did you say?
Oh, I was just going to make a joke. I was going to say no relation to the ward of millionaire Bruce Wayne.
Gotham Kitty.
No relation.
How do you know that?
That's true. You can't be sure until they do that DNA test, and then the 1, 2, 3, and me. Yeah.
Well, spelled
Right.
differently, number 1, and number 2, the latter is
Oh,
fiction.
don't give him the number 2. Don't say number 2 to David Lefkowitz. You know better than that.
Yeah, seriously. Leslie, I need you to pick a number which could be 2, between 1 and 6.
Oh, both of my numbers are available?
Generally,
I generally go between 2 and 6. Okay, 6 this week. Are you having a good time, David? Are you in a lovely place where you are?
Yes. Someone's mowing the lawn outside my window.
usually I have that. So wait, Leslie, what number did you say? 2 or 6? I missed it.
I said 6.
6.
You're really just home and you're making believe, so you have this little
I'm
noise
in-
machine going.
I'm
I
in
know.
a little town near Portland, Maine.
That's lovely. My kids lived right near there for a while
Oh,
when
really?
they first came back. When they first came back to the East Coast from LA, they sort of moved to Maine, to Vermont, and then it was going to be Rhode Island, Connecticut, and they settled in Connecticut, fortunately.
Okay, so here's the deal. I rolled the die, and just so you know, I have a digital die rolling website thing here. It came up number 5, which is right between Anne and Leslie, so I can't use that number. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and do it again. And we come up with a number 1, which is closest to David Sheward. So, David, you can choose to go first, second, or third. Which do
I
you,
believe first.
you want to be first, David? Ooh. Okay, we're going to roll the die again. Up. And it comes up the lucky number 6. Leslie, do you want to be second or third?
I'll take second, thank you. Sorry, Anne. That sort of leaves you with sloppy thirds, but
That's okay.
We could probably rename that, but yes, indeed. So it'll be David
I'll
Sheward,
stick by it.
Leslie Blake, and Anne Grayson. That will be the order. I'm just going to write this down. And we're off to the races. Are you guys ready to play the Today, Yesterday trivia game?
Yes.
Not really, but okay.
Yes, I am ready.
Oh, the excitement is starting already. So the first question will go to you, David Sheward.
Okay. Let me
The
just move for a minute because while this guy is lawn mowing, just for a minute.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
By the way, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife Joyce, Ann Grayson, Leslie Hoban Blake, and the very movable David Sheward. Oh, and he's taking a point north by northwest, so maybe we'll have a history.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's very Hitchcockian. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, unless that's like one of those evil satanic
Oh my
things,
God.
and you've tricked out with letters on it just to fool us.
I control the world. All points of the compass.
There you go. Well, they compass me about. Yay, they compass me about.
Wow.
So
That's
hug it up.
Oh,
Here we go. 17.
oh, quite a quote. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay.
David Sheward, 1717 was the year. Okay, premiering today at a concert on the River Thames are Handel's orchestral suites making up his water music.
Oh, okay.
Which of these is not true about water?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
We love the way he does this.
Go ahead.
We love his question.
Newborn babies are nearly 80% water. B, the most effective way to kill bacteria in water is ultraviolet light. C, one spilled gallon of gasoline can contaminate 750,000 gallons of water. Or D, the average American uses 4 times more water per day than the average European.
Okay. They all sound like they could be true. And I think the human body is more than 80% water. Okay, so it's a baby is 80% water.
Right.
What was the second one?
The second one is most effective way to kill bacteria in water is UV light.
Okay.
One is one spilled gallon of gasoline can contaminate 750,000 gallons of water. Or D, the average American uses 4 times more water per day than the average European.
So which of those is not true?
Which of those is not correct?
I would say the average American probably uses 10 times more water than the average European. So I'm going to go with the last one.
You're going
Is
to
that
go
drinking or washing? Just out of
But
curiosity.
you mean whatever?
use
Combined usage. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's the last one. I think the average American uses a lot more than 4 times than the average European.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, pour yourself a drink, David Sheward. That is the correct answer, but in the way you thought. The average American uses only twice as much.
So
as
it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you still got it right. You still got the question right. You got your 2
Indeed.
points. David's already on the board. You have fear, other contestants. Have fear because, once David's on the board.
Put numbers up here.
You know I won last week when you weren't here, David, right? You know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Well, I would have thought by now
I
that he
missed-
would have said something to you about it.
I
Okay.
missed the headline
This
on
is a joke,
CNN.
and it's a friendly competition.
I missed the headline on CNN.
It wasn't on CNN. They put it on Fox for some reason. I don't know. But
It's
anyway,
in a chyron down below. It runs across, and it says
now,
last week.
I think it went viral on Twitter.
Leslie Blake, your question is next. Are you ready?
I'm just going to get my charger. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay. The
He
year...
doesn't even bother to listen when I'm doing it. Look at that.
Because he knows if you miss the question, he'll just get it by guessing.
That's right. That's right. He'll just come in and steal it. Go ahead. I'm very sorry, Ed.
The
It
year
must
is
be making you crazy. I'm terribly sorry. Okay, go ahead.
1814 was
Sure.
the year. On this date, on July 17th, 1814, published today is Matthew Flinders' book, A Voyage to Terra Australis, about being the first explorer to circumnavigate Australia. Which of these was not invented by Australians or in Australia? A,
Whoa. Okay.
the pacemaker. B, boxed wine. C, Google Maps. Or D, Marmite food spread.
Not.
Not invented by an Australian or in Australia.
What the hell is Marmite?
Oh, it's a wonderful thing.
Okay.
People hate it's a vegetable spread. It's a weird. You bake a bunch of stuff down into this ooze, and it's vaguely salty.
That sounds delish. That just sounds
And you
yummy.
spread it on bread. And you spread it on
Quote,
bread.
vaguely salty.
Oh, it's actually very salty. Okay.
Okay.
And there's a pretzel called a twiglet that's wrapped in it.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of twiglets.
Okay. So now I'm back to the questions. Okay, so it was the
Aren't
pacemaker,
Twiggy's
the
children. Yeah.
pacemaker,
Pacemaker,
Google
boxed
Maps,
wine.
Marmite, and I don't remember the third one.
Boxed wine
Fourth one.
was
Boxed wine. Hard to believe someone invented boxed wine in any place on the face of the earth. This is one of those I don't have the foggiest idea, so it's gonna be a pure guess. I've never heard of anything particularly Australian attached to Google Maps, so I'm gonna say Google Maps.
Is that your final answer?
I love it when you do that. Yes, David, it's my final answer.
Well, Leslie, I'm afraid you have to look towards David's thing behind him because you're in the wrong direction on that one. Google Maps was an Australian creation. So we have a steal opportunity now. I'm going to roll the die. The die comes up number 5, which is between Anne and Leslie. So, Anne, you get to try and steal this question. Do you need me to read it again?
All right, can I have the answers again? If
Yeah,
you don't mind?
Which
It's
of the-
without minus Google Maps, because I was actually going to say that too. But
Okay,
now I'm
well,
not going to be able to say
I feel
it.
better. I'm rooting for you, Anne.
Here we
Thank
go.
you.
Here we go. So, which of these was not an Australian creation? Was it A, the pacemaker, B, boxed wine, or D, Marmite food spread?
A pacemaker.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, Anne, although you are heart-stoppingly lovely, that is not the correct answer.
Oh,
Pacemaker was
okay.
an American David Sheward.
Okay.
Deal.
50-50 chance here.
Yep.
So it's boxed wine or Marmite food spread.
Right.
Marmite.
Yeah.
Marmite.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. I mean, it's like Marmite is weird enough that it was probably done in Australia. So it's which of these two was not done in Australia?
Not Australian. Right.
I mean, and boxed wine sounds crazy enough to be made in Australia. I got an idea, mate. Let's put this wine in a box. We'll make a fortune. Crikey, you're nuts. All right, let's see.
And this is why David is a critic rather than an actor. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes.
Kidding.
Just for that, I'm going to do the rest of the interview in the accent.
Just be careful, David, because it looks like you might be having a mini stroke.
Yeah.
It looks a little like Bell's palsy.
Okay,
Just
box
just
wine.
don't do it.
I'll say box wine was not invented in Australia.
Blimey.
Is that your final answer?
Cool, stop asking me that. The truth is, I wouldn't have said it if it wasn't my last answer.
Do tell him.
Well, David, although you could have been drunk with power with those 2 points you got in the first round, I'm afraid you are not correct in this one. I have stumped the panel.
Oh.
Marmite?
Insane as this may sound, Marmite was made in Germany,
Oh,
popularized in the UK, and then inspired Vegemite, which is more of the Australian thing. But Marmite originally was a German thing,
Did
not
not know that. I
Australian.
would never have liked it as much had I known that.
Well, there, yeah. So I think the original Marmite was made from Jews, and then they reworked the recipe.
It was people, Soylent Green. Oh, Lord.
There you go. It was sort of off brown.
uh,
We have still a 2-0 game with David Sheward, but Ann Grayson hasn't answered a question yet. So you can tie David with 2 points if you get this question right. Ann, are you ready as you've ever been?
Yes.
Here we go. The year was 1867. By the way, this is not a multiple choice, okay? 1867. Established today in Boston is Harvard School of Dental Medicine, the first university-based dental school. In honor of this milestone, what was the name of the house band on The Muppet Show led by gravel-voiced Dr. Teeth?
The name of the what?
I'll read it again. In honor of the establishment of the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, what was the name of the house band on the Muppet Show, led by gravel-voiced Dr. Teeth?
He had red hair, right? He had
I
red
think so.
fluffy hair.
Yeah.
Goodness. The name of the house brand or
Band.
band?
House band.
Band.
On the Muppet Show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, house band
Um,
on the Muppet Show.
Image of Dr. T.
I think I'm guessing it was molars something, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
You want to take that guess with there? Gonna go with the molar thing.
I know it has to do with teeth. I think the name of the band had to do with teeth, and I think something's coming to me like molars and dentures. I don't know. That's all I could say. Something molars.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
That was
Oh wait, that's animal, I think. Oh, because animals are drunk, right? Yeah. Anyway,
All
so
the Muppets look alike. I mean,
That's my final answer because I'm not exactly sure.
okay, what was your answer? Was it dentures or
Well, something molars
Molars.
or dentures.
she doesn't know, so she can say Lin-Manuel Noriega.
yeah, or Lin-Manuel Noriega? That's sort of a standard answer that we have here. But here we go. Well, I'm afraid you
trying to come up with a pun.
we'll have to drill you on that answer later because that's not the correct answer.
I have this one, hold on.
Oh, we have another. Joyce has another image coming in
Oh, wait,
while
hold
I
on.
roll the
No,
die.
not an image. No, I lost where it is now. Hold on.
The die comes up though number 1, which is closest to David Sheward. So
Okay.
David Sheward, happy Harvard School of Medicine Day.
Oh,
Founded today.
Bill. That's what she's doing.
Yes,
Okay.
It's
yes.
a dentist.
So
My
What was-
father was a dentist. Doesn't help me.
okay, the
I
house
don't know.
band on the
Yeah.
Muppet Show, which was led by Dr. Teeth.
Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
Wow.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you didn't hem and haw about that at all, David Sheward. Yes, that is the correct answer. It was Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. David Sheward with 2 more points, and this is why David Sheward is the shark. He's the man.
Even on vacation in his relaxed state.
Even in
And we sort of have to tag team. We can't work together. But I'm in your corner, just so you know. Nothing personal, David. It's a girl thing, you know.
It's
What can
just a
I say?
game, you know.
Joyce wants to know, does your mother, David, does your mother still think our show is stupid?
Does your mother still watch our show? What's wrong with her?
What was the last thing that caused that go
Sorry.
Joe, Leslie said, does he even still watch the show? It's like, does anybody still?
Never watched it.
Oh,
That was just while I was visiting her, and I was sitting in the living room doing this, and she was sitting there.
Oh,
And she's like, this is so stupid.
She said, David, that's about the dumbest thing I ever heard.
for this I sent you to college.
I'm sure she still thinks that, yes.
His mom is a critic.
Well, yeah, that's right. This is how you became a critic, David. Your mother was a critic, and the genes filtered that.
That's how we all became critics, Dave.
All right, we have a game here. We're going into the second round with David in the lead with 4 points, and Anne and Leslie still getting on the board. But anything can still happen. We got some more questions for you in the Today Yesterday quiz on Dave's Gone By, our 807th episode. We're calling it Amazing Grace, or just Ann Grayson, as well as David and Leslie Blake here. And it's about 10:30 in the morning Eastern Time. Continuing, are you guys ready for round 2?
Yes.
Yes, here we go. Round 2, the first question, goes to David Sheward. And this is, you'll get this one. Yeah, you'll get this one. It's a non-multiple choice.
Okay.
The year 1935.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, farmers are not interested in farming pictures, is a quote from an article by Abel Green, published today in Variety under what iconic headline?
Nix, Sticks, Picks.
What the heck is that?
Say, is that your final answer?
Wait. Hicks. No, Sticks, Hicks. No, Sticks, Nix, Hicks, Picks.
Maybe Nix?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Now, I could deduct a quarter point because everybody gets this wrong, but you're really close enough. It would be perfect the way you said it, but the actual headline was Sticks, Nix, Hick, Picks.
Oh,
I really didn't know. Oh,
I'm surprised they didn't just do Hicks because it would have been the same thing. Yeah, but it's Sticks, Nix, Hick,
Oh.
Picks,
Hick,
which
Hick.
just meant that when they would play these farm pictures and farm country, no, they wanted to see stories about Manhattan.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm going to give you the 2 points on that because you knew exactly what that was all about. David Sheward with 6 points. Hang on.
we're already in the 1930s. What happened to the 1200s this week? Nothing happened in the 1200s
Nothing happened today.
this week?
Nothing happened today.
Nothing happened today.
In
That's
all
a
of
new.
those centuries.
I'm
We
already
can play a new game. Nothing happened on this day. On
Yes. The
Well, here's
surface
the deal.
got up and they
and we have so far drifted from what the original point of the show was, where it was what happened on this day, and then
Oh yeah. Now
occasionally they are things that happen on this day, but usually it's just a jumping off point to some weird question that Dave Lefkowitz stays up all night creating.
I do. But that question was that happened. That was a July 17th.
No, I know that. I mean, I don't know that it was today, but I
Yeah.
know that had a date on it, right?
And this next question, which goes to you, Leslie, is going to be a question that did happen, particularly on this date. It's a multiple choice, and I know you. I know how much you love sports. Try not to spit out your coffee while answering this one. Here we go. 1936 was the year. In a streak that started today and ran from one season into another, this New York Giant set a record that still stands: 24 consecutive wins. Was he A, Dizzy Dean, B, Lefty Grove, C, Carl Hubble, D, Bob Feller?
I actually know where one of those guys played. One of them. Dizzy Dean, Carl
Lefty Grove,
Hubble, Bob Feller, and the other one was,
Carl Hubble.
I said Carl Hubble.
Oh, Dizzy Dean,
Dizzy
Lefty
Dean,
Grove,
Carl Hubble, Bob Feller.
Lefty Grove.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him. And this player, in whatever position he played, he won 21 games, you say?
Well, this New York Giants set a record: 24 consecutive wins.
24. And it's a New York Giant, so that's a big clue.
That is correct.
Okay.
And 1936 was,
Yeah, 1936. I thought it was going to be about the Olympics or something. When you said 1936, that's the year I would associate with. What the fuck do I know about this? Not bloody much. Okay. Dizzy Dean.
is that your final?
That's my final guess.
All right, okay. Well, this is going to make your head spin, Leslie, but I'm afraid that is not the correct answer. It is not Dizzy Dean. I'm going to roll the die. Let's see who can possibly steal. Would come up with a number 3, which is David Sheward's number. David Sheward, you have a chance to steal and actually get up to 8 points if you get this right.
Okay. Give me the
For this, I get up on a Saturday.
Late. Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal. Which of these did this? Which of these players, this New York Giant, set a record of 24 consecutive wins?
Okay.
Was it B, Lefty Grove, C, Carl Hubble, D, Bob Feller?
I'm going to guess Bob Feller.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, David, you've fallen and you can't get up. That is not the correct answer. So, Anne, oh my goodness, Anne, you've got a shot here. Do you have any?
I'm ready. I'm guessing C. Carl Hubble.
I don't see Carl Hubble. Is he around here? No, just kidding.
No, it's the letter C.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you don't need a Hubble telescope to know that Ann Grayson has gotten on the board with 2 points. It was Carl Hubble. Yay! We need Animal on the top.
And do not feed him things like C. Carl. Please do not give him excuses. He does very well on his own.
Thank you very much.
You're
So
welcome. You're welcome.
check this out. Well, we still have one more question though in our second round, and this goes directly to Ann. So Ann, you can go from 2. You can double your 2 points to 4 if you get this question right. Are you ready?
I'm gonna try. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here we go. The year 1945. And this is not a multiple choice. Starting today, and for 2 weeks, world leaders met in Potsdam to figure out what to do with defeated Germany. Those leaders were Harry Truman, Joseph Stalin, and Winston Churchill. Only Churchill couldn't stay for the whole conference and was replaced by whom?
Oh my God. I think I know. I don't believe this. If I think the first name might be John. I actually think I know, but it totally escapes me because I know someone did replace Churchill at some point, but I'm not sure if that's the man you're talking about. But it was something like John Sterling or, oh, I feel like I know it, like it's the tip of my tongue, but I could just say the first name might be John something. John Marshall, John Sterling. I could be completely wrong though.
Do you want to go with?
But it's not a multiple choice?
I'm sorry, no, it's not.
Oh. You said he was replaced by someone from
Right.
England?
Churchill had to go, and he was replaced by,
What, 1945?
correct, the Potsdam Conference.
I don't remember the name, but I think I know it, but it just escapes me.
Make up Lin-Manuel Noriega, maybe, or could it be? Or...
Right.
Tell her to name a character from her book.
Name one of the characters.
Yeah, name one of your characters.
Oh, that was there in 1945?
Well, they were undead. Well, they could have been.
The ghost one, the kitty one.
Yeah, the kitty.
Actually, the vampire could be because she's been around since a long time. So it's a Ileana Vladislava. She could be there.
Is the right answer. No, you want to go with Ileana Bratislava? Is that the, no?
Or something like, well, I'll try John Marshall.
John Marshall.
It's probably wrong, but, you know.
Well, much as I enjoy going to the John, that is not the correct answer. So we're going to roll the die, ladies and gentlemen, and see who gets to steal. We come up, and just as I did a couple of times this morning, I came up with a number 2, which is closest to David Sheward.
Okay.
David Sheward, you look like you knew this one. So, who replaced Churchill at Potsdam?
He's a history teacher. He's a teacher.
Your English or your history? I always forget that.
He's everything.
Well, it's special education. I'm supposed to know all this stuff. But we rarely... Clement Attlee.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, we're in for some clement weather because that is the correct answer. David Sheward. What happened was he was voted into office.
Right.
They had a regime change in England.
Had an election, yes.
Yeah, and Churchill left, and Clement Attlee took his place because he was the new prime minister. So
I was thinking it was Anthony Eden. I was off by a decade at least. I was off by a decade.
I believe he was Attlee's foreign minister.
Anybody remember Howard Attlee, the press agent? Anybody know what happened?
Sure.
I know the name. I don't know anything
I
about
remember
it.
his name coming up a few times when I was starting. But I think
Or he would do off real low stuff. But he seemed
That was back in 1287, wasn't it, David?
Yes.
So here's the deal. We have finished our second round out of 3 in our Today Yesterday quiz, and go figure, David Sheward is in the lead with 8 points. Ann Grayson in second place with 2 points, and Leslie yet to get on the board.
Wah, wah, wah. I know.
But you know what? I think depending on how things go, anybody could still win. So
Right. If
Won't
we,
be easy.
Dave, if we hit David Stewart over the head and steal his points, then we could possibly win. Other than that, I do not see how that's mathematically possible. But okay, go ahead. Sure, why not?
Mathematically, because we have 3 more questions plus a tiebreaker. So if, let's say, Anne gets all 3 of those questions right, she should be tied
That's
with
right.
him, win the tiebreaker.
She could tie with him.
But let's see how this goes, because we start, though, our 3rd round with a question going to guess who, David Stewart. So, ladies and gentlemen, David, are you ready for round 3?
Yes, go ahead.
The year was 1955. Multiple choice. In a special televised press event, live from Anaheim, California, Disneyland opens. But which of these is not a Walt Disney film released in the 1950s?
Okay.
A. The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. B. The Sword and the Rose. C. Perry. D. Tonka.
The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, I'm pretty sure, was not a Disney film. I think that was or maybe it was. I think that was some sort of American international cheapo thing. I could be wrong, maybe, but there used to be the show, the Wonderful World of Color, which later became the Wonderful World of Disney, and they would show everything in the Disney catalog. And I don't remember that Seventh Voyage of Sinbad being on that. I'll say the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. That's where I'm headed.
And is that headed towards a final answer?
Yes.
Well, that was sin good, because yes, indeed, David Stewart, well done. Co-produced by Ray Harryhausen, which is why that picture has become something of a classic in its look and stuff. But it was a Columbia.
Okay.
It was not Disney.
And it was a George Powell. George Powell was the director, I believe.
Oh, so there you go. So,
The special effects.
well, I'm sorry?
Or Powell did the special effects.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry, I said director. You're right. It wasn't.
He did stop motion animation, but maybe he was the director, because he did direct other films like When Worlds Collide and sci-fi stuff like that. And I think he did some horror films too.
Well, it makes sense if they have that kind of weight.
I don't know about Powell doing that. I just know about I know about one film that I saw on some movie of the week kind of thing, or before TCM, and it scared the hell out of me. It had walking skeletons and stuff like that, and a big spider. That might have been Sinbad, but it was also Ray Harryhausen. Those things were so scary, even on a television set in black and white. They were so terrifying.
I think that was Jason and the Argonauts.
Yes, you're right. Oh, you're too good.
Yeah, go figure. David would know the answer to something. So this is why he has 10 points going into the rest of round 3.
Even if you went to public or private school, I'm curious.
Has David ever had? Is your new goal to get all of them right? Have you ever had a night on this thing where where nobody gets any answers?
I don't know.
I've never had a 0-0-0 game. I've had some low-scoring ones.
No. I'm asking if Stewart has ever won all of the points in one of them.
On this show? I don't think so.
Not while I've been playing you, but I just wondered if sometime when I wasn't around.
It'd be
Not that my being around today makes any difference other than my chatting with you all. I'm absolutely useless this morning, as you can hear and see.
Leslie won last week.
Yeah, Leslie, you won, but also David.
I know. I'm saying when Stewart's not around, I do fine.
So here's
I psych myself out. It's terrible.
So it is a 10-point game, an 8-point lead for Dave. But so essentially, we're going to ask the questions anyway, just for funsies. Leslie,
Maybe I can tie with Anne. Let's see if I can tie with Anne.
Public or
Yeah.
private?
2 points.
yeah, Joyce is asking, David, did you go to public school, private school? Where were you educated?
I went to private school in Philadelphia from 7th grade to graduate to being a senior in high school. A public school, an all-boys public school called Chestnut Hill Academy, and then I went to Temple University and Carnegie Mellon for my undergraduate degree in theater.
Whoa!
I knew about Carnegie Mellon. What was the one in between?
Temple. Well, I went to Carnegie Mellon.
Right. Okay.
I went to
Okay.
Carnegie Mellon with Cherry Jones and Holly Hunter.
I
Whoa.
know.
But I was in the English department, not the theater department, and I wanted to be an actor, and I auditioned for the theater department, and they didn't accept me. So I transferred to Temple University, where they did accept me, and graduated from Temple.
Did you act your
that-
little heart out
Hmm?
in college productions? Did you act your little heart out in college productions?
Yes, I did.
So will you bring pictures next time and show them to us?
Yes.
I'll show
No,
you mine if
that's
you'll show me yours.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you guys know, but I auditioned for Honeydew Melon because they gave me seed money. I don't know what that means. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, nothing. Okay, here we go. The next
He
question.
does these, and he just comes up with them. He doesn't know what we're
No,
going to say.
Mr.
And there's
Peabody.
always something. It's always there.
Leslie Hoban.
I'm in awe.
Aw.
The small town outside of
That's out of Portland, Oregon.
Portland, Maine. Awe.
So here's your question, Leslie. Are you
Oh
ready?
yeah.
Meaningless.
Sure,
Here we
go
go.
ahead.
1968 was the year. Released in England is the animated Beatles film Yellow Submarine.
Oh, I was there. I know the answer. Oh wait, no, I don't. I was
Ask
in
that
London for the opening, but I'm not sure that I know what the question is going to be. You just gave me all the answers. All right, so go ahead. What's the question? It's
So-
not going to have anything to do with the Beatles or Yellow Submarines. It'll have to do with yellow.
Or submarines. Yeah.
Or
I was
submarines,
going to ask a question about submarine sandwiches trivia, but no. I went more normal on this one, sort of.
I
When
got so excited. I thought I would know the answer. Okay, go ahead.
Maybe you will. When the soundtrack album was released months later, Side A featured 6 Beatles tracks, while Side B had George Martin's orchestral score for scenes in the film. Which of these was not a George Martin composition on the soundtrack? Was it
Oh, wow. Okay.
A, Sea of Green, B, Sea of Holes, C, Sea of Monsters, D, Sea of Time?
One is not the right answer.
Not on the soundtrack
Does
album.
that mean that the other three were not there? That can't be possible. There weren't 3 songs or 4 songs that were Sea of.
The question,
Forgive me for questioning the question master, but that doesn't make sense to me.
one of these was not, only one of these was not on the side B.
So you're saying that on side B there were 3 other songs that began Sea of something.
Yes, that is what he's
I
saying.
can
That is
do
what
that.
he is saying. Okay,
That's what
makes
he
no
is saying.
sense to me at all. Okay,
I can make the
Well-
album. Okay.
holes were very important, so I'm going to go with would be Sea of Green, and what else? Sea of Greens, holes.
Monsters, Time.
I'll say monsters, and it would be my final guess.
Oh, well, then I'll just go. Well, Leslie Hoban Blake, I'm afraid that was a monstrous answer because Sea of Monsters is one of the I'll call them songs, even though they're more orchestral soundtrack compositions. I'm going to roll the die. Come on, do it. Hello, there we go. We come up with the number 5, which is between Anne and Leslie. So Anne, you get to try and steal this question. Which of the following was not a George Martin composition that was on the soundtrack album to Yellow Submarine? Was it A, Sea of Green, B, Sea of Holes, or D, Sea of Time?
B, Sea of Holes. My
Is that-
final answer.
Okay. Well, you got some of the question right, but not the whole question right. So I'm afraid, Anne, no, that is not the correct answer. David, sure, guess what? You get to steal. You got 50-50 shot. You'll get it. I'll just give you the 2 damn points.
Okay. Well, it's time or what?
It's Time or Green.
Okay. I think Sea of Green is one of the lyrics in the song Yellow Submarine. I think it's in there someplace. I think it's Sea of Time. Is not.
It is not.
But I think it's Sea of Time. is not.
What time is it? It's time to get the wrong answer.
Well-
David, you had the right idea. Sea of Green is in the song Yellow Submarine, but it's not a song. It's not a George Martin thing.
Okay.
It was on the soundtrack. So
No, you got us. You got us.
Colonel, yay.
That's hard.
See, Leslie, aren't you so glad that I actually stayed with Yellow Submarine and the Beatles?
I'm really glad you didn't say orange. Yes, orange.
There actually was a game show called Stump the Stars.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was basically charades, and you would.
I remember that.
And people would mail in little phrases and jokes and puns, and they'd have to do charades to act it out. And if you stumped the stars, you got like $5 in the mail or something.
Now, see, if I were doing that show, I would be like, oh, Stump the Stars. You just take a chainsaw and cut their legs off at the knee and see how they manage.
And then that was followed by Hump the Hostess and Get the Guests.
There you go. Well, I'll be. Okay, well, I'll.
Yes, very good.
Thank
Very
you.
Oh,
And you are the stillest person.
I just
You
got
just-
that.
You just got that?
I got the Albie reference.
Yes, you of all people just got that. And you are the stillest person. I thought for a minute your screen froze a couple of times. You don't, I mean, now you're very animated. You're really just very still and intent. It's amazing.
Well, she's a dancer.
I'm carefully listening. There's
Yeah.
so much going
I
on.
see that.
I
Focus.
have my sympathy if you're carefully listening to this show. But ladies and gentlemen, by the way, Anne, I'm glad you're listening because this question does go to you to end round 3. Yeah, so you're definitely ready. You're poised. You're poised for this multiple choice question. The year 1996, July 17th was the date. TWA Flight 800 explodes over Long Island today, killing all 230 people on board. Only a few years later, TWA went bankrupt, although JFK did open a TWA hotel in 2019, go figure. But of all of the following, which is the only airline still flying in 2021? Okay. Is it A, Tower Air, B, Midway, C, Avianca, or D, Swiss Air?
D, Swiss Air.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, my final answer.
Well, just like Swiss cheese, your answer is full of holes there. That is not the correct answer. Swiss Air did fold about 20, 30 years ago.
Oh.
I actually flew Swiss Air. It was a great airline. But we're going to roll the die.
I actually know the answer. Then if it's not that one, I had a backup. It's probably the backup, but I can't say it.
Oh,
No.
don't, because we get a steal opportunity. Here we go. We got the number 4, which is Anne, but it's closest to David.
Okay.
I don't mean to go
I'll drink to that.
A matinee, a pinter play. Okay, so the choices are
Tower Air,
Tower Air,
Midway, and Avianca. One of these is still.
Avianca. Which of these 3 is still flying?
Yes.
Well, Avianca sounds like it's the misbegotten Trump child or something. So that naturally would go bankrupt right as soon as it got off the ground. Well, maybe it is. That's just crazy. Avianca.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you are flying high, David Sheward. Nothing to do with Trump. Avianca was actually founded in Colombia in 1919, and they are still flying today. Midway in Chicago went out in 1991,
Oh, interesting.
and Tower Air's gone. So Avianca still in the air. David Sheward with Boxcar Double, or is Boxcar 6 or 12? Do you guys know?
I think 12. It's 2 6s.
Well, it's 2 6s.
Well, this is about one of the highest scores you ever had, David Sheward, with 12
It is.
points.
Thank you.
You win. But we're going to play the tiebreaker anyway. This is why I asked you.
Well, wait, is that it? We don't, Anne doesn't get another question?
That wasn't.
Oh, that was
That
the
was
steal.
it.
I'm sorry, that was
Yeah.
the steal. Okay.
Let me get a pen.
I'm trying to help you there, Anne.
I was going to
We
say
need a
Avianca.
pencil and
I missed
paper
it.
now.
That was my
We
second
need a
choice.
pen. We need a pen and paper, a pencil and paper.
You pencil and paper
Yeah.
or scrap or whatever for
Does Anne, do you have?
the tiebreaker.
Yes, I have.
She has.
Okay.
Yeah. So, by the way, Anne, congratulations. You came in second. So, well done. Considering you're up against David Short and Leslie Blake, that's pretty damn...
I don't recall my ever not having at least one right answer on the show.
Well, that's why you got to get this tiebreaker, right? Because you could, and
I don't. Yeah, there are no points attached to the tiebreaker, darling. I know better. He's so nice. He pats me on the head when I get low scores.
How many roses in a dozen?
How many what?
Yes, right.
How many roses in a dozen?
Right. How many eggs in a crate? Right.
Read the card. Read the card. Okay, here we go. This is a tiebreaker question. I will read it twice. I'll read it once, then you write your answer. I'll read it again, and when I say 3, 2, 1, you will take your piece of paper and hold it up in front of the lens of your computer or of your camera so that we all see it at the same time. And that way, this is a fair way to do it. Okay, we all ready?
Yes.
Okay. Tiebreaker, the year 1917. Born in Lima, Ohio, or maybe it's Lima, Ohio. I've never been. Okay, Lima.
Yes.
Born in Lima, Ohio, today is this groundbreaking comedian. Although her style was all her own, many of her jokes about her fictitious husband actually sprang from her almost obsessively following the comic strip The Lockhorns. Name that funny person who made her TV debut on You Bet Your Life.
Born 1917?
Correct.
I know who it is, and I can't remember her name. God damn it.
It happens all the time. Yeah.
I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to write it down anyway.
No, I was writing down Cole
Ready?
Porter until you said she. So
Okay.
no, that's not a hint. I
He was born in
can't think of her
Peru,
name.
not Lima.
Are we ready to hold it up or no?
No, yeah. I'll read the question again and give a 3, 2, 1, but I need everybody to have written an answer. So
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question? I'm so confused. I apologize. I confused myself.
Well, I do that all the time. 1917 was the year. Born July 17th, 1917 in Lima, Ohio. Today is this groundbreaking comedian. Although her style was all her own, many of her jokes about her fictitious husband actually sprang from her almost obsessively following the comic strip The Lockhorns. Name that funny person who made her TV debut on You Bet Your Life. Okay, do we all have answers written? Okay.
Yes.
3, 2, 1. Let's see them. Okay. I see Roz. Is that Roz Chast? Fang's wife, Phyllis Diller. Leslie, you have the right idea. David,
No, that's as close as I could get to Phyllis Diller.
Carol Channing. No, it's not Carol Channing either.
Fang's husband, Fang's mother, is so fat that when she sits around the house, she sits around the house.
And Phyllis Diller. Yeah.
Couldn't think of Phyllis Diller's name to save my soul. I was so Cole Portered in my head, I couldn't get out of it. Couldn't get out of my own way. Oh well.
He was born in Peru, wasn't he? Not Lima.
No, he was born in Lima, Ohio, no, or Nebraska.
He was in
but it was
Peru,
Lima.
Indiana, wasn't he? Or Peru?
I thought it was Peru, Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Peru and not Lima. I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. I guess you'll have to peruse
I
his
got it.
biography.
I got to get some sleep, guys. I really got to get some sleep.
I thought you're sleeping through the show, Leslie. That's what all my listeners do, or viewers. Anywho, congratulations to David Short with 12 points plus the tiebreaker, winning our yesterday quiz on this Saturday, July 17th. Let me thank so much for such a fun time. All these wonderful people. First of all, ANN Greyson, what a great sport. And you got on the board with 2 points. So, Ann, please remind everybody, you have ANNGREYSON.com is your website for all things Greysonable, which is kind of cool.
Well, thank you for having me here. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
I'm glad you enjoyed. And one of the cool things, and I wish I'd done this, although my show is kind of like this. If you go to her website, you've been doing this like photo portrait thing, where you take a picture of yourself like once a month, every month, and you've been doing this since like 2016 or 15, or how far back do you go?
Well, maybe every 3 months.
Or something like that. But there's dozens of photos, and it's kind of tracking just, who you are.
Activities, yeah. All my activities over the years, since I was a baby, probably. But I took off the baby pictures.
Oh, why'd you take off the
Goes
baby?
back to baby.
Oh.
Well, I can't fit it right now, but I may try to add it later.
Yeah, you gotta add the baby picture.
Facebook or Instagram?
Oh, my personal website.
Oh, your personal website. Okay.
Which is
I'm actually on Twitter though, but not Facebook. I'm on Twitter.
I've been kicked off Twitter and I can't get back on. So
What's
well,
your Twitter?
how'd you get kicked off Twitter?
it isn't. I wish it was for what I had written about the orange pumpkin. It was not for any of that. It was because I got a new phone and it didn't transfer the app over. And when I tried to get in, they thought I was somebody else, and now I can't get back in. And they blocked it permanently. So I thought, you know what? Without him in office, I don't need to have it. It was a pressure valve for me. I wrote every day, and I let a little of that anxiety loose. I feel much less anxious these days. I have only COVID to worry about now. I don't have
That's the Delta thing. That's no big deal.
You know,
By the way,
yeah,
speaking of
I'm
this,
starting to get anxious again. Sorry.
so Ann Grayson is ANNGREYSON.com, where you can find out about when Gotham Kitty is officially coming out. Plus, you can get her other 2 books, Never Dead and The Lonely Vampire. So, Anne, thank you for being with us.
And are these young adult books or are these adult books?
They're adult books, but they can appeal to young adults as well. There's many,
Okay.
all the different ages of the characters.
Okay, cool.
And babies, too. They're very popular with babies. Leslie Hoban Blake, do you
A
have any?
vampire baby who has no teeth. That would be a really incredible idea, right? Never
It's
mind.
like, or would have teeth, and the baby suckles. It kind of, when all the women who are nursing become zombies. I've given you an idea, Anne. There you go.
Yeah, Never Dead Part 2.
Yeah. The Rattler. So, Leslie, do you have a new critics circle?
No. We got the last one up finally, and they showed it again last night because they just whatever they have in the tube is what they show. So it's called Critic Circle, and it's Charles Gross and I have been partners for many years on a critical show, and now without any theater to be at, we rearranged this into a show about what people did during the pandemic, and now we're talking about the theater coming back, or as Charlie says, no, really, because it's been coming back and then it doesn't. And so we'll see. I'm still taking a wait and see attitude,
Even for September because of Delta?
With this wild card variant, you can't predict anything. I mean, they have given dates to all the shows that are going to open. I be gesund. I wish them a good life. I hope it happens, but I have no faith in anything anymore.
Not even.
Hey, Wendy Williams. Besides you, if Wendy Williams will not get vaccinated and will go on television saying she will not get vaccinated during this, then all bets are off. I mean, someone who's right in the public eye and lives in New York, and you think would know better, and so it irks me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
look, please. What?
That was my lunch with Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
What?
When would you ever get near Wendy Williams? That it
I
bothered?
was looking for something. I watched the show.
Yeah.
I like the show in the morning. It's mindless enough that I can watch the beginning part with the hot topics and that kind of thing. I enjoy. Then I don't like the rest of it. But because she's crazy, and I like that. But
Well, obviously,
now I find out she's really crazy because they broadcast her. I was looking for something online, and I found a snippet of something where she was on Dr. Oz. And he was saying, well, you're vaccinated, of course. And she did this diatribe about not only am I not, I never will be. We don't know what it is. And I mean, if she'd said because of the Tuskegee people, I would have thought, all right, there's a rationale. But she just kept saying, I don't believe the science. And I'm going like, what is wrong with you? There wasn't a rational reason.
I saw that she was on Dr. Oz, and he kept saying, get off me, you're so heavy. It's like, okay. So finally she got off Dr. Oz. But, David, what have you written this week?
Well, actually, I'm on vacation, so I haven't written too much. But I am updating whenever there's an announcement about Broadway shows or what's happening. I try to update the information. So I did write an article about the fact that 2 shows from off Broadway last season before the shutdown are moving to Broadway from the Vineyard Theater season are moving to Broadway. Is This a Room and Dana H. And they're going to be performed in repertory. And I also talked about Douglas Carter Bean's new play, which sounds very interesting, called Fairy Cakes. which is going to have Mo Rocca and Julie Halston.
I know. That's very exciting.
And Brooks Ashmanskas. And I'm very excited about Dana H. and Is This a Room moving to Broadway? Because if you were to ask me what shows are going to move to Broadway from off-Broadway, those would be the last one I'd ever pick. Because they're very...
What about Hot Chicken Wing King? Would you have thought Hot Chicken Wing King would win the Pulitzer and then go to Broadway? I mean, life is... But I have a quick question for both of you.
That show is not going to Broadway. But that show...
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
When did they announce that?
It's in the list I have.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're not mixing up with Chicken and Biscuits?
No, it's Hot Chicken King Wing.
Chicken Wing King.
Hot Wing King.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about. It was at the.
Yes, that won the Pulitzer Prize.
Playwright.
No, it was at the
Biscuits and Hot Chicken Wing King.
The Hot Wing King was at Signature Theater.
Right. Yes, that's correct.
It was on 42nd Street.
As part of a Katori Hall season.
Right. And it's going
sorry,
to
we
Broadway.
went off into this whole tangent, Anne.
Yeah, right. I'm sorry about
that.
I have a quick
Broadway
question.
show.
What?
I can't believe that's the name of a Broadway show. The name
Well,
of
it will be. It was an off-Broadway show, but it will now be a Broadway show.
Why did I think that it was? I'm sorry. I think you're right, David. I had the idea that it was
Chicken and Biscuits.
Yeah, Chicken and Biscuits is coming to Broadway.
But the other one was in my list that we used. I don't remember where we got it from, but it was in our list. There's a new list in the Times as of yesterday. I haven't really followed through with it, but maybe it was going to go and then it didn't get the money or something. But it was listed.
Was it Popeye's Fried Chicken?
Yeah.
No, it's a guy in the Midwest. It's a
That could be the next one.
Yes, Popeye the movie was one of Robert Altman's biggest financial hits in his entire career.
Starring Robin Williams, right?
Right.
Robin Williams. Oh, do I get a point for that?
Yes, Dr.
We have a new Dr. Sue. Hey, Ann.
And Shelley Duvall, another point.
Right, as Olive.
Yes, I love Shelley
Wait.
Duvall.
Yeah, I thought that movie was a big flop. It was a hit.
But in
made
residuals
money.
and in video sales and in
It was a critical flop. It was the critics hated it.
But I didn't realize it was okay.
In retrospect, I love it.
Yeah, I think it was his most successful film because it became a big kids thing. And Linda Hunt and Bill Irwin were in the ensemble.
Wow, cool.
I had a quick question apropos this Broadway thing. Does your publication have an updated list of press agents, Dave?
Thank you for asking. Does Performing Arts Insider have a list of press agents that is updated every month? Why, Leslie Hoban Blake, it surely does.
It's updated
of every issue. Yes, it is.
Okay, because I've been I sent stuff out and it started to come back to me that those people are not where they were anymore. Because people like people at Bon O'Brien Brown, there are people missing. Matt Ross has put up a note saying he's looking for new people. So that's why. By the way, you reminded me, you held up Restoration. The cover says Restoration. So I went to the site to watch your play.
Yes.
And I screwed up and it came up private. No, it said private film clip or something. So that may have been what was public. What Joyce sent it to me, he sent me the same. Do you have a copy of the script or did you have a recording of it so I can finally watch it? Because I really would like to watch it. This is a bad week for me.
Well, thank you. What Leslie's referring to and what I was talking about when I first started the show was my play, my one-act comedy, Restoration Playhouse, was part of the Red Bull Theater Company Short New Play Festival, which happened live on Monday, and then they kept the video of all the plays, the actual event, on their site. There was a YouTube link, actually. They were supposed to have stopped it Friday morning. I don't know if they did or not.
Well, it said Friday night, and I went, and Friday night it wasn't there, and that's what you get for leaving things till the last minute. I'm sorry.
What was very nice, I didn't get a chance to say this before, is I think they liked the show a lot at Red Bull.
Good.
If you go to the Red Bull Facebook page,
I'm not on Facebook.
But I don't know if you need to be. If you go to if you try and go Red Bull Theater Company, or maybe even their regular website, and you click, or maybe they'll send you the link, they excerpted my play from
Did they?
the 10 minutes that were my play, and did it like sort of as a separate thing, which may still be there for everybody. So
Okay.
it jumps to some kind. In fact, I'm going to try and find it now because it's this is the most important part of the day for me right here. RedBullTheater.com. I'm going to them. If I click on, let's see, can I still watch the
But
live
if not,
stream?
may I have a copy of the script to read?
Well, I will also tell you. Yeah, you can't. Their website, they no longer have the stream up, but I think their Facebook page does. You and everybody else, if you go to davelefkowitz.org or com, davelefkowitz.org, you can read hundreds of my pieces of writing, including hundreds of theater reviews, one-act plays, full-length plays, song lyrics. It's all there. And if you go into the search box and you type Restoration Playhouse, Leslie, it'll bring up my play, and if you click like the button that says download, it will be in like nice script format. Like
Lovely. Thank you. I felt so badly. Badly or bad? I don't know.
You felt bad. Yeah.
What's correct? Thank you, David. I knew I'd get a correction. That's why I threw it out there. Anyway, thank you. I'm sorry about missing it. And Joyce, thank you for trying to get it to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you got it to me. I just had a really
About
rough
your
week.
publication, David, is it available at the new drama bookshop?
Well, it's so kind of you to keep asking these questions. Yes, I'll do a promo. Performing Arts Insider, since 1944, The Bible of Broadway, available as single copies at the brand revised new drama bookshop. Also, of course, available by subscription if you go to performingartsinsider.com. So, yes, we will be updating the press. Thanks for the reminder of updating the press list. And also, a list of Broadway and off Broadway day by day, things opening, closing, starting previews. Every Broadway and off show with incredibly detailed listings. And so we're going to actually be working on the new issue this weekend for the for the August issue. It's a monthly publication. It's pricey. I'm sorry about that, but it's a journal. But yeah, please do subscribe. And if you want to save some money, we can just send you the PDF rather than the hard copy, and it'll save you some bucks. But all the info is at performingartsinsider.com. Well, thank you for asking about that. Asking about Restoration Playhouse.
And back in New York, I will drop by and pick up a copy.
Please do. If you like it, subscribe. I would really love that.
Have you been there yet, Dave? David,
No,
have you been there yet?
I haven't been there yet.
No, neither have I. What disturbs me is the destruction of all those books that David Carnes did to make that swath of books. No, I sold when I moved, I sold a shelf that was 22 feet long. I am not exaggerating. I measured it, of all of my drama reference books, because I didn't use them anymore. Obviously, you go to Google. So I sold these books, which were worth a couple of $1,000, given what I paid for them originally, for $200 to the drama bookshop. And I said, you have to take them all. I said, you can't cherry pick. Take them all. So I'm imagining that all the ones they didn't want are part of what's in that spot, Well, I feel very honored to be there, but I hate the destruction of books. So it's a fine line between the two,
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, when we moved from Colorado, Joyce took all my playbooks and theater books and gave them to the university library.
I donated them.
Yeah.
Oh, I have so much of my stuff at the University of Southern Ohio. That thing, there's that Lawrence and Lee archive.
Yeah.
And I'm looking for a place to leave my books. Also, I culled mine down. I called them until I have just what I want.
But what did you call them?
My bookshelf.
Wait, hello, it's Leslie's Books. Hello. Yeah. Okay.
But when my father died, he had an incredible library and art, theater and film library, and it was the wrong time. The guy at the Strand bookstore actually said to me, I know a lot of people just died at the same time. It was 2013, had nothing to do with COVID. He said, a lot of people, with theater collections died at the same time. We're just not taking any more books.
Wow.
I went, okay. That's why I gave a whole shelf full of things to the coffee house. Remember where we went for that party? We had a drama desk party at the coffee house on 44th Street.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I gave them a complete shelf of the illustrated motion picture books from the 20s, silent movies.
Oh, wow.
Every movie had a book with illustrations from the movie.
Oh my God.
So I didn't give them all of the ones I had. My father had a gigantic collection of those. Half of those went to the Cecil B. DeMille Museum, which no longer exists. I think it burned down, or that's what happens. You think you have a permanent place for something, you buy a bench for somebody with a name tag, and the theater, what?
Nothing lasts.
Nothing.
No, and I know the York Theater Company. I donated a chair, and I'm sure that when the flood came, I'm sure my chair was among the things that got ruined. That's the way life is. If I'm old enough I should know that by now, and I still think things are going to be there. I'm sorry, I'm elongating this. I know you want to go. Okay.
Well, nothing lasts, but this program, like all the other Dave's Gone By, you'll find on davesgoneby.com. So you can always come back and watch David Sheward, Leslie Hoban Blake, Ann Greyson playing the game and being such wonderful guests on Dave's Gone By on this Saturday morning. Thank you all so much for being with us. Just been wonderful. Thanks.
I do not know for sure about this coming Saturday. I'll drop you a note and we'll see what happens.
I'm still on vacation, but I will probably be here.
Yay! I'll let you know what time. I will let you. So I'm going to let you each. Oh, you're very, very welcome, Anne. I just hit rename instead of remove. Bye, David Short.
It's fun meeting you. I will look up your books. Oops. Well, now that he's gone, no.
And Anne, thank you again. It's just a delight to have you here. So thanks so much for being with us.